Alright, so this is the third part of the video on connecting from JFrame to MySQL. What we currently have is a working form that has an author combo box populated. No, we don't. There we go. And we respond. What I want to occur is when I pick Trudy Chase, I want her books to appear over here along with the price. To populate this, we're going to write a custom query based on what was selected from here and pull the information out of the database. Like we did with this drop-down box, we have to create an object model, or a default combo box model, I should say, for over here, so that we can display a custom set of objects. Okay, so let's start by building a class. I'm going to call this class book and price. Okay, so what I want to pull out, I simply want to pull out the title and the price. When I look at this, I look at the copy table, price is a decimal 82. That works as a double or float in Java. Title is a string. So those are my two data types. Helps if I click in the right place. And since this is my interface, I'm going to worry about formatting here, so I'll create a decimal format. I'll fix my imports in decimal format. And then I'll add my setters and getters. And again, the toString becomes importance. I don't need a setter and getter for money, so I'm going to turn that off. I'll do my constructors. Again, I don't need to deal with money in my constructors. So when I create my parameterized one, I won't include it. And then I'll create my toString, and I will handle that. I'm running Lightworks at the same time as this, and that's really eating up my performance. All right, so money.format will make it look like American dollars, USD. Okay, remember, anytime you're pulling something out of a database, you should build a class to get that data, especially if you want to do anything meaningful with your project. So I have my class. Now I'm going to do similar to I did with the drop-down box. I'm going to create myself a default list model. This one's going to take book and class, or book and price. Fix my imports. I'm going to have to use book model in a minute, but like I did before, when I find where I create my list box. I keep saying book in class, book in price. So now our book list is going to accept objects of my class, and it's going to use the toString to display the information to the screen. Nothing has changed yet, so we just set up. Now we're going to fill this box. I'm going to go to my author combo here, and these two lines are going to go away. Okay. The reason to go away is I'm going to create a function that handles this, and that function is going to be called fill dropdown. I'm sorry, fill box. So I haven't defined it yet, but I'll call it, and then I'll scroll to my other methods, and I'll define fill book list. So here is fill drop. Let's do fill book list. Okay. Similarly to my dropdown, I'm going to populate this with SQL. What will be different is I'm going to pull the author number from here, from my dropdown box, and use that to populate the book list. Okay. So it's going to be an interactive query. When I pick an author, it's going to update. So I'm going to need a SQL statement. Now I have to build this in a minute. Same code I had a minute ago. So pick now has the author num, which is the primary key. Primary key lookups are super fast. They're O1. So I'm going to build a search based on this. And I'm going to use string the format here to do the cool concatenation. I'll put a big ugly SQL string in here. The end of it will be picked get author number. You don't have to use string format. You can just concatenate where you want. But I find that when you start dealing with semicolons and single quotes inside of double quotes, this is a little bit easier. My query is going to pull out the smallest price from the book in the database, searched by author num. I've already written this, so I'm going to Now I'm going to concatenate them together here in the string format just so you can read it. Now, the important thing right here is this %d. That's the placeholder for the integer at the end. So when this fires, I should generate select title, min, prices, book, etc., where author num equal whatever the number I picked. Now, a really smart move to do whenever you're coding against databases is show your SQL that you generate. And then copy and paste it into MySQL and see if it works. This way you know your SQL is correct. This one's complicated because we're interacting with the drop-down box. So I've got my show here. I'm going to run. I'm going to pick an author. Somebody know as books. Let's pick Mr. King. So here is my code. And I can't select it from here. Okay. I'll just write it out the screen. So system.println, it should appear down here. I should be able to copy from down there. It's Mr. King again. Here it is. Good. Select this. You see how it says author number 6 in there because that's Stephen King's number. Copy. Go to MySQL. Paste. Semicolon. It's voila. My 2 Stephen King books come back. Okay, so I know that my interaction is working correctly. So now I need to build the drop. So I can comment this out. If your SQL doesn't work, don't move beyond this point. Seriously, figure out what you did wrong. There's a lot that can go wrong here. I put a lot of time into writing this query, that I did off camera. So now we're going to do our try. And again, this could be a SQL exception. All that stuff that pops on the screen telling me what's going on makes it impossible for me to see what I'm typing. And I'll put a message so I know where it came from. And I'll display the error message. Since I'm managing the SQL, I'm not expecting an error, but things happen. This little phrase list error here will tell me that something happened whenever I'm generating my list here. Smart way to track some errors visually. So I'm going to execute my SQL. I can tell the Lightworks stopped running because my program's responding nicely again. I'm going to walk through it just like before. That's wrong. Oh, why am I doing it twice? Okay. So while there's no guarantee that this sequence will return something. Some of my authors don't have books, and this will handle it very nicely. Result.next will not fire if it's blank. So inside here, I'm going to do something very similar to what I did with the author. I'm going to create an object of type book and price. I'm going to fill it in with the title and the price, and then I'm going to add it to my book. Alright, so we run this, we have an error. Pick my drop-down box, pick Stephen King, who we know has books, nothing appears there. The reason is I forgot a line of code. This line here, the set model, I need to do that for my list as well. So as long as it's done before you use it, it's fine. I'll put that one in my constructor. So I'll set the model for the book list to be the book model. And when that's in, that links the model in memory to the object on screen. When we run this, we see the object. But that leads us to another error. It just keeps adding on. That's an easy fix. We simply have to wipe this out. And I'll do that up here in my fill book list. Before I run any of this stuff, I'm simply going to clear out my book model. clear does exactly what it says. It clears out the book list. So now to run this thing, King, Heller, Mr. Francis, Joseph again. Beautiful. All right. So you've now connected to MySQL and run a series of queries off of MySQL. In this scenario, I connected to the database at the beginning and kept it open until we were done. All right. Good luck to you.